folks, Jonathan here. Figured it was no time better than the present to check out this flathead Model T engine, see, well, even if there's any parts in it, and check the valves out, pistons out, all that good stuff. Turns over good. I just have no clue about condition, and we got Nanocat gonna give it a CAT scan here real quick. But I went ahead and took all the head bolts out instead of pulling the spark plugs out first. A lot of dirt around there, and I didn't want to check a chance on getting anything in there. So, all right, I'm going to pull this head and hope that it's even complete. You know, I don't have a clue. So. And I did check the numbers on this, and it did come back as a 1925. I guess we'll have to pull these bolts out. Probably a good thing I pulled it off, and I did get the head gasket. It caught on that rear bolt, I guess. And I messed it up, which is not good, but that's okay. I don't think I've got another one, but we can sure get another one. Not a problem, because I can already see that we've got every valve open. We've got good looking cylinder walls, which is scary. Well, I think they're tight. Yeah, I don't think there's any issues there. I think that's a home of ants. I believe all of them are dead ants. I hope they're dead. Yep. Alright. So, I can already tell you that I'm going to need to take this manifold off, probably pull the valve cover off and get these valves out. I'm just surprised it's not stuck. I'm surprised it's turning so good. The cylinder walls don't look too bad at all. We got spiders, every kind of critter you can think of in there, it looks like. Alright. Rust. I don't reckon it would have mattered if I'd have pulled them plugs and got some stuff in there, because these things are just coated. Well, you get the air hose and blow this off and out, and I'm not hearing any crazy noises like, you know, rod bearing or anything like that, so I think we're going to be okay. So let me get air hose and blow this off and see what it looks like. Don't look terrible. The only thing that bothers me or worries me at all is the fact that these water jackets are packed full of rust and crud. So that's definitely going to be totally, completely rinsed out. And as most of you know, this don't work like a, there's no water pump. So, you know, it's called thermosiphoning. It's when heat rises, and it just makes the heat run to the top. So I can imagine what it's going to look like inside there, but you know, all that's going to have to be cleaned out really well. I mean, you've only got water up here, so I mean, it's not a lot of area, but it's definitely got to be cleaned out. I don't feel nothing that really scares me or worries me, and you know, looking down through, you know, a lot of times you'll, believe it or not, be able to see around or down beside the piston, and you'll be able to see that, you know, the cylinder's got a lot of wear just by the gap and the crack around it, and I don't see anything. And maybe somebody can tell me if these are stock compression pistons, because they are domed, which makes me wonder. And you know, I know on a tractor that would be a high altitude piston. You know, you'd run them when you're running like a kerosene head to be able to raise your compression when you're at a high elevation, or you can raise it to get your more horsepower, and a lot of people done that. Didn't look in the head yet. Now we've got another cylinder head that came with the other one. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. Could be worked with. So, I don't know that I want to tap these, but I might at least get some spray down on them and let them sit. Okay folks, got them all sprayed, tapped on them. Two of them, you know, moved a little bit, no problem. The rest of them are nice and stiff, so we're just going to let it sit with the PB Blaster. I don't know how far I want to go. it feels really good. I can't get any noise out of the bottom end of this engine, so I've got a feeling that everything's fine. Of course, I'd have to drain the oil and flush it and all that stuff, but I may not tear it down and pull the pistons out. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. And you know, parts are cheap for these things. That's the good thing. And we'll just go from there and see if we can get this thing to be at least a decent running engine, so we can have something in our car. So, all right, I'm gonna let this thing soak overnight. So maybe we'll get back on it tomorrow sometime. All right. Okay. And for anyone that don't know, this is the one that we're trying to get an engine together for. And yes, it's undercover. And somebody talked crap to me and said I had it sitting outside. All this stuff that's on it was on it from where it was sitting, where it was at before. All this crap, I just never washed it. But it is undercover. So here's what we've got. Stuck valves, missing pistons, and a crankshaft rusted. So this block is pretty rough. This is an electric start setup. So here's the head for this one. So it's probably exactly the same. So what we'll probably do is take that engine and this engine and take all the best parts. Between the two of them, come up with enough parts to get one together. And if we need to use this flywheel, we'll use this flywheel. And you know, magnets, whatever we got to do. You know, these got a magneto on the flywheel, so we'll use whatever parts we've got to use to get this together, though, because this is a pretty nice little car. Not perfect, but not bad. All right, that's in the shade, folks. Okay, folks, following day, hot. I think it's showing 101 degrees in Johnsonville on the temperature thing. But I wanted to show you something. Something I noticed about this when I was playing with these valves. I don't think a lot of the valves are stuck. See how that one turns? That one turns. That one turns. That one is tight. But what I'm saying is these three, all three of them, are not going to be open at the same time. And they turn real good and easy. So they're not stuck in the guide. I think my lifters are stuck is my problem. So I need to, before I do much more up here, I can keep spraying it, but what I really need to do is get the intake exhaust off, go ahead and get that side cover off, and get some spray in there, because I think our lifters are stuck in the lifter bores, and I think that will get us moving on the valves anyway. All right, okay, we took the bed off to put on the Roadster. Okay, folks, didn't even move the rear, and I don't know how it come out that way, but I don't remember how I got to come up with the wheelbase, but however I came up with it must have been halfway right, because it's right on the money. So still got to lower it down about 2.5 inches, and that'll bring it below my body line a little bit. I think it'll make it look a little better, and then if I put fenders on it, it won't look so bad. So, all right, get back to the T-motor. Okay, so we pulled the intake exhaust, gasket looked terrible, and then we pulled the side cover, and that is probably our issue. But I want to go back. You know, I said that this thing probably hadn't ran in 50 years, and I'd like to recount that statement and add about 30 years to that, because it's pretty rough. Okay, so if anybody's wondering how that stuff got in, I was too, and I see now that big hole right through there where the linkage goes, and it says right above it, it's got Mickey Mouse right on it. I guess it must be where he lived.
Mouse house.
Mouse house. But anyway, I'm sure that is our problem, but I can't. We've got to get some more PB blasters so I can get them all sprayed, and then we'll start getting them loose and getting them working. But I think they're going to be okay. I'm still happy with the cylinders not being stuck. All right. Garden has just about taken over. We've got cucumbers on, we've got tomatoes on, and we've got bell peppers. They're all growing. There's actually some nice cucumbers in there, about 3 inches long, so it won't be long we'll be having some. So yeah, we probably planted more than we needed to, but you know, they didn't die, so We figured some of them would die, but I don't think we've had any of them that died, so looks good. Tomatoes are looking good. This one's got 5 little tiny ones on it. And I like green tomatoes fried, so won't be long. All right. Okay, folks, I sprayed them. Let them sit, tapped on them. They're still tight. I don't want to hit the valve real hard. I don't want to bend the valve. But I'm thinking maybe some heat on the guides. If I can heat each guide up a little bit, I might be able to get them to free up some. But yeah, they're definitely tight. I just don't want to get that spring hot. Lose the tension in the spring. So, all right, we'll keep at it. Okay, folks, picked up a barrel, and this barrel is big, as you can see. And we're estimated it at about 240 to 250 gallons total. And I am not sure why they made it the way they made it. This thing's got compound curves, which would be a lot harder to make than just, you know, making a simple barrel. But, so here's what I don't understand is why it had a lift eye, a really heavy lift eye on this side, and it actually used to have one on this side. Let's cut it off. And then it had a fill, and then it had a, what looks to be a drain. I don't know if this was a specific barrel for something or what, but it's got rings around it, and then like I said, it's curved here, and then it's compound curved there, and then curved here. Now my plans was, and still may be, when I'm done with this and I pull this body and build a frame or put it on an A-frame or whatever I end up doing and running the GMC V6 with the 5-speed, I thought maybe I would put it on the back of this or the behind the cab of this and make it into like a fuel tanker, you know, write standard oil on it or something like that. Just because it's an old one, it's different. I even thought if I cleaned it up, I could drill it and hammer in what looked like rivets, make it look like a lap team tank. But anybody knows what that would have been used for, let me know what you think. I don't know why they would have went to the trouble of making it a compound curve like that. I know it would be stronger, but pressure wise, but why would they need it, you know, no bigger than the tank is? So don't know. All right, so we got our first valve unstuck on this. Let's see if I can roll it over. I ended up heating the guide up just like I figured I'd have to. It open and there it closed. So number one, exhaust valve is working. So we're just going to continue back through and see if we can get the rest of them to open and close. And it's working out pretty well. All right, folks, here we go. Number one cylinder. Valves are opening and closed. So far, so good. Start on number two and see if we can get them straightened out. All right, there's number one and number two. Looking good. Now we just need to, looks like number three exhaust has freed itself up. Yeah, it leaves us with the back three, and we'll have it. All right, I think I got to call it quits. We got a storm coming in, so not sure whether I'm going to be able to come back out tonight or not. We'll get everything covered up here and all the tools picked up. And we'll get to the rest of this. It won't be an issue. Get them water jackets completely cleaned out, and probably still pull the valves out and go ahead and lap them in, clean them up, and make sure they're seating good. But they don't look in bad shape. They're nice and thick. You know, they're not wore out. And like I said, you can't see the rings past the piston, and you'll just have to trust me on that. That's a good thing. You know, a lot of engines you tear down, you know, you can actually see the top ring because of wear. So there's no ring ridge on this thing at all, and I don't think it's a bad engine. I just think it just sit for a long time. So we will get it running one way or the other. It's so quiet turning it over. I don't think there's any, you know, bearing issues or anything like that. So they're going to make us a good engine for our 24 model. So anyway, I've got good news on the backhoe too, which you will hear about in the next video. And you know, I've got a tree I got to take down in the front yard here. That's next to the house, so we got to get it done, and a few other little things before I can get back to doing much work. But anyway, I'll keep everybody updated on the progress here. And if you happen to know what the tank was for, let me know. But you know, I just liked it. I liked the style of it. It was different, and we will do something with it, even if it ain't good. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.